Hey, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm so happy to see you, and in this video, we're gonna make 100% whole grain buckwheat beer and seed bread. This bread has sunflower seeds and sesame seeds. You can find the full recipe on my blog, and you can customize it to put whatever combination of seeds or nuts you want. This bread is a household favorite. It's 100% whole grain, and in this demo, I'm actually going to use a sprouted whole wheat flour and a sprouted rye, but you can use fresh milled rye, store-bought rye, whatever you want. The other beautiful thing is you can change the combination of seeds to suit your baking and whatever you want to do. Ooh, this is a household favorite. Let's get started and I'll show you how to bake this. All right, let's build our levain for our buckwheat beer bread. Now this is gonna rise overnight slowly, and we're gonna use a rye levain for this. I keep a dedicated rye starter. You can see it's beautifully active. Now, if you don't have a rye starter, just use your regular starter. If you want to convert to a rye starter, just take your regular starter and feed it with equal parts water and rye flour. It might take a few days for it to acclimatize to the rye, but this is a great way to bake 100% whole grain breads. So we're gonna just put this on a scale. I need 10 grams of starter. We're going to go 230 grams of water. And this is whole wheat and rye flour, 115 grams of each. Put that in your container. And then you're just gonna mix this up really well. We're gonna put a lid on this, and we're gonna let this sit for about 12 hours. Now I like to put the time on here so that I can sort of track how long it takes. It should be between 10 to 12 hours, but again, depending on your environment, it could be a little faster or slower. It's kind of, it's about 22 Celsius in my house, 10:30 p.m., and I'll slap that here. We're gonna leave our levain build on the counter, and I will see you tomorrow morning to mix our dough. It's time to mix our dough. Our levain has been rising for about 12 hours. You can see it's nice and bubbly. It's got a super strong smell to it. On the table in front of me, I've got rye, whole wheat, cracked buckwheat, malt syrup, toasted sunflower and sesame, salt, and an IPA. Now I don't have any ale because I don't really drink alcohol, and someone actually gave me some beer as a housewarming gift. So what better way to use it up than to throw it into the bread? This is really easy. We're just gonna put everything into the container, mix it up, and let it sit for half an hour. To start, we're just gonna put everything into the container. So we're gonna go seeds, and then flours, salt. I like to do the levain build into a container that I can do the final dough in and just mix it together. It just makes it so much easier. Put this into here. I'm using malt syrup, but you could use honey if you'd like, or a combination of the two. Then we're gonna put our beer and our water. We're gonna mix it up until there's no dry bits. Mix this really, 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 really well. Make sure you shouldn't see any streaks of color on the side of your dough, and you should get one straight mixture. Of course you can help. And if you have a little one that wants to help mix it, of course they can help. What are you making? This one? Oh. All right, let me get in here, love, and just get the bottom of this to make sure we're fully incorporated. Now, this is so easy. Once you've mixed this up, just let it sit there for about half an hour, and then we're gonna put it in the pan. So I'm gonna clean up these dishes, we're gonna get her a snack, and I'll see you in half an hour. This is super straightforward. We're gonna use a wet dough scraper, put it right in the water, scoop this out, and go right into the pan. Before I forget, this pan is 24 by 11 centimeters, or for anyone in inches, it is 9 3/4 by 4.5 inches. You can adjust the dough size using my dough calculator if you don't have this size of pan, if you want to make a little bit bigger. And of course, if you're making a larger batch, you can adjust the dough size as well. If you are making a huge batch of this, you can use the planetary mixer with the paddle attachment for mixing. It's very effective. So you're gonna put the dough into the pan, get everything out of here. And then we're gonna use a wet dough scraper to smooth out the top of the dough. You're just gonna go like this, get it nice and smooth. Okay. I like to sort of press down into the pan, and then we're gonna make the sides nice and pretty like this, so it has that loaf shape when we're done. Sort of using the scraper to make a little shape. I'm gonna dump out any extra water. And now for this part, we're gonna dust the top with a bit of rye flour. The rye is gonna let us gauge the rise of the dough, and you're gonna be able to see your progression of your dough and when it's time to bake it. So we're gonna give this a very generous dusting. Don't go too crazy because you don't want that raw rye flour on there, but don't sort of hold back either. I guess that doesn't really help, but you'll figure it out. There you go, you can see that. Now we're gonna set this aside for about 30 to 45 minutes. Then we're gonna score it and bake it. So I'm just gonna put this behind me here, and we're gonna let this rise. It's been just over 30 minutes and our bread is ready to go. You can see it's risen and cracked. I probably could have let this go a little bit less, but you know what? We're gonna throw it in the oven now. So we're gonna use a lamb to score it, but I'm actually gonna wet it. Just make sure to dry it after or it can go rusty. And we're gonna score an X on the top, and that's it. Next, we're gonna throw this in the oven. We're gonna bake this bread at 235 Celsius or 460 Fahrenheit. It's gonna take about 50 to 60 minutes. Halfway through, we'll vent the steam, and we wanna go to an internal temperature of 97 Celsius or 206 Fahrenheit. All right, our bread is finished baking. It's at an internal temp of 96.5, so we're right on point there, perfect. And I like to take this out right away, otherwise it's gonna sweat and steam. It should pop out right away. So you've got this beautiful loaf. Mine's a little dark on the top, I guess, but I've never used the ANOVA for this bread yet, so it's a new oven for this bake. But overall, I'd say I'm pretty happy with that. Now, one of the things with this bread is it needs to cool for a while before you slice into it. I would give this about 8 hours. So I'm going to leave this out, I'm gonna let it chill, and I'll slice it later on. And let's slice it open and see how it looks. Oh, look at that, just beautiful inside.